right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Doomcast number 55. I am your host, Charlie McGrath, with my co-founder, Doug Owen. Douglas, how are you?
Good, sir. It's good to be back with you. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm broadcasting from Denver, Doug. I'm on the road again.
On the road again.
Yeah, guess what?
Yeah.
The first week in September, I'll be in Edmonton. So we'll be doing in Edmonton, another Canadian one, the Square Wheels.
Hey. Nice.
Doug Owen's website's blacklistednews.com. Mine is wideawakenews.com. You can follow us on Doug Owen.
Doomcast Show is one of the ways. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on iTunes, social media, all those places, everywhere. Just Google us or go to your favorite personal search engine. And
you've done a really good job of getting that out there. I've got friends at work. Some follow us on Spreaker. Some follow us on iTunes. But you've really made it intuitive. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think so. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
We have to. We really do, because you don't want to lose people because of the frustration. You're like, I can't figure out my Zune or whatever device it is. So we try to make it pretty simple for people. Bitcoin challenge. All of you people out there that were bitching and moaning that we didn't accept Bitcoins. I didn't get one darn Bitcoin from you. I mean, they're losing value. They went down $100, and I figured you guys would be ready to
dumping them on us.
Yeah, nothing. Oh well.
I know. Then you were proud of that setup too.
I know. I spent a lot of time, and I'm getting no BTC here.
Give Doug a freaking Bitcoin.
I just want to see if it works. I'm just curious if it works. I want to see if I can get the BTC from somebody. If you got a nickel in Bitcoin, I'll take it.
Doug, if I had a Bitcoin, I'd give it to you, buddy.
I know. I had 35 of them at one time on a e-machine that's somewhere in a dump, landfill, or Al Gore boondoggle. Does that just mean they're gone then? They're gone and forever? Yeah. I don't think I can get them back. Because at the time I didn't really understand the wallet. And some of you out there are like, oh, you're that guy that could have, had a lot of money, or, potentially maybe $40,000 if I sold at that moment that Mt. Gox was, wash trading and shooting that Bitcoin price straight up to the moon. So what was it, $1,300, something like that? Anyway, did we lose Charlie McGrath? Charlie. Hello, Charlie McGrath. Is it Skype? It's probably Skype here. Let's see. See a green light there. Let's try to get hotel Wi-Fi, I think.
Yeah, I guess I'm doing it from... Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Doug?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Doug. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I'm using my Samsung now.
You know what? We might just have to roll with the S4. Might work. Or is that an S5 active?
It's an S5.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, it's big time. I'm big time. Like, I know the difference. That's one they gave me when I got a new phone. But it is cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. I apologize for the cut out there, but it is hotel Wi-Fi, and we were talking about Bitcoin and the lack thereof, and I'm trying to look to because I had one $20 donation last week, and I wanted to give the guy a prop. So I'll get that up here in a minute as soon as the hotel Wi-Fi decides to work again.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Charlie. It's fine. We can continue on. So how about that Ferguson, Missouri state of emergency, martial law, paid provocateurs, tragedy pimps, and really just every opportunist and even the alternative media descending to bring us some pretty shocking videos. And I think it's really interesting, not that people are rioting or feel disparaged or feel wronged by the state and that this is ultimately the only way that they are going to have their voices heard. I completely understand that. But paid provocateurs and other people coming there to just kind of exacerbate all of this is pretty. I guess it's not shocking. It shouldn't surprise me, but that's one of the things that really does concern me when it comes to watching this thing spiral kind of out of control. And I think it's good because it's highlighting the warrior cop, the failed drug war. It's bringing a lot of attention to things like the 1099 program and the militarization of the police departments across the nation. So it's opening up that discussion. But Yeah, and you know what? Here's the other thing, Charlie. People are enjoying this. That's the one thing that really kind of bothers me. It's like, ooh, it's endless
like
entertainment. I see people even in our chat room. They're like, "This is just too entertaining. I love watching live stream and watching the cops, beat up people." And it's like, calm down.
Doug Owen, can you hear me okay right here? I'm moving around because it was going digital.
No, you sound fine. I just on some of the stuff out there that's kind of come to light.
Yeah, no, I heard y'all. It was a little digital on my end, but I thought it was the coverage that I've been watching of it has been mainly. Especially, traveling and being somewhat preoccupied this week. I've been not watching a lot of print on it, but, like Vice News is their live stream all night long, every night of the week. And, you have hundreds of media down there trying to, in a lot of cases, I think they become the story themselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're being arrested en masse and, they're definitely the targets of a lot of the police officers that are not interested in having their pictures on TV and would like to be able to, do whatever it is that they want to do without any kind of, national or even global scrutiny. I mean, you have the Russian prime minister talking about how the U.S. should have to, focus. Yo, I hear bubbles and pops from your Samsung S5. Not that cool. Kind of cool, but not really that cool.
Not that cool. This is what I'm going to do, Doomcast 55, the technically challenged Doomcast.
We need your money, people. Listen to this. We're having to rig it together on the fly here for you.
Yeah. Call me. I'm going to give me 2 minutes. I'm going to try to figure this out on the laptop and get a signal that's worth the crap. So
all right.
I'll rush through and then I'll call you right back.
Okay, that's cool. Let's see, 2237. I'll mark the tape. Welcome back, Charlie McGrath, to the wireless there at the Wi-Fi at the hotel.
Yeah, I found a Ethernet connection, so hopefully this is a little bit better. Is it crystal clear? Like I'm sitting on your lap? It's a little creepy.
Yeah. So are you eating? Are you eating crow? There were some predictions that we were going to bring forward. You had some predictions, and you said maybe by next episode we would have to. Well,
wait a minute. We have Russians in Ukraine.
According to who? According to who? I don't buy that.
The white vans.
Bull crap.
They're delivering goods and services.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to say
that's a rescue mission. Wink, wink. Come on, comrade. You get it, Ski.
I'm going to have to eat crow because I honestly expected, and I think Doomer Craig and I maybe even exchanged something on Friday on Skype about that perhaps this weekend would be the big Russian weekend. It's still on the table. They're still not going to let the eastern part of Ukraine go. And I'm with you. This convoy is. I don't think there's probably any military equipment on this thing in these 300 rigs. There probably isn't. There probably isn't any troops on it, but I think it's going to open the door. It'll be the impetus to troops coming in. They'll talk about the plight of the people of Eastern Ukraine, or this convoy is going to come under attack. People are going to die. There's going to be 2 truck drivers per rig. There's going to be 600 or so Russians in there. So what happens? What does Putin do when it comes under attack and a half a dozen people are killed? He'll say enoughski and come rushing in there. I don't owe Russian in there. See what I did?
I don't know. I mean, he's a chess player. You sacrifice a few pawns, and I think that any of those guys out there that are being they're pretty much targets for the Ukrainian military, and they understand that. I think that they're pawns. I think that he's more smart ski than that.
No, he is more smart ski than that, and I don't think he gives a crap ski about the truck driver skis.
No,
that doesn't work.
No,
but I do think he's looking for an opportunity. And you're right. He's a chess player. He's probably 5 moves ahead on when they cross over into eastern Ukraine and get that whole situation under control. Why else, Doug Owen? I mean, if that wasn't his ultimate goal, I suppose destabilization of that region might be. I mean, theoretically, that could be his end goal.
No, I think he's doing the exact same thing that you think that John Kerry, the State Department, the neocons, and NATO are trying to do, and I think that he's bringing the U.S. into this. I think that he has continued to use his leverage and continue to push that pace, because I mean, this isn't something that just happened over the last year. This is something that really stemmed back to the U.S. Integration and forward policy in the region, and subsidizing the military and working very hard to get enough people in parliament that were Western friendly that could institute this coup d'etat. He's been watching all of this. I mean, because that's really that's the game, protecting the periphery. So I think it's the same thing. I just think that he's trying to lure the U.S. in, because we have so many boondoggles. We don't have any support. I mean, airstrikes in Iraq, people, they've been polled. And if you believe some of the CFR bosses, I'm not saying the numbers are real, because, who knows with polls, but, people are like, we got to bomb these guys. We really screwed up Iraq. People, they're apathetic at this point to, a lot of what's happening. So I think that,
you mean they just don't care, Doug Owen?
A lot of people, they don't. They've got, as you've seen in Ferguson, Missouri, people are preoccupied with the show. It's like, remember when
I think a lot of people are waiting for, more of that here. But I agree with you 100% when you talk about apathetic. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care that we're, a headline in the Wall Street Journal. I have it right here, because they gave me one in the hotel this morning.
Oh, yeah,
US,
for free?
For free, yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know they made real papers anymore. So U.S. airstrike success spurs push for more Iraqi attacks. Nobody cares. They want to, it's just we've been so desensitized and become so numb to it that, nobody cares that we're doing exactly what the president said we wouldn't do, 2 months ago? Exactly what he said we wouldn't do. Yeah. We're doing it. And so you can be rest assured,
we're bombing our own equipment that we just happened to, wink, wink, once again lose there in the desert when we're training all those guys in Jordan.
Yeah. What kind of world? I mean, that's exactly right. We're now a self-defeating military-industrial complex, self-sustaining, self-defeating, and declaring victory only so we can go back into the same region. Not even waiting a decade anymore. We wait from Papa Bush's war to W's. We wait a decade for that. No, we don't even have to wait a decade now. We'll just keep creating terrorists and facilitating war nonstop.
Better idea. LA is considering giving citizen lottery tickets for voting. Did you hear about this?
I did.
See, now that gets rid of apathy. There we go. Solutions. I like the creativity. I like where they're going with this. Look, it's a gamble whether you're going to get a crony, and more than likely you will if it's a D or R. So just here.
Take the damn lottery.
Take the damn state-funded Ponzi scheme and enjoy. You're going to get that week. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know how to go backward in time here, but when my connection wasn't great, we were talking about.
Wait, you want to go backward in time? I think I can facilitate that somehow.
Let's do that.
Let me see. Yes.
Travel me.
All right. There we are.
You got all the cool toys. The before my connection cut out, we were starting to talk a little bit about Ferguson. And I'm getting emails on both sides and Skype message on both sides. There's people that believe that he was murdered in cold blood. There's people that believe that when the truth comes out, we're going to find out that this cop,
I'm listening.
is the cop was attacked and broken orbital socket in his eye.
Doesn't matter. That has very little to do with why these people are rioting. It's hot, man. It's August. It's miserable in Missouri, and people are blighted, and they're getting their food stamps cut, and their Obamacare sucks, and there's a lot of other.
Are you naming reasons? Are you naming off reasons?
I don't know, because Wall Street robbed them, and because the low paid jobs that people once had have been shipped overseas, and so there's not a lot of opportunity for people that don't have an education and background, and you have a lot of those people in Ferguson, Missouri. I mean, you have a 66%. I mean, when you start looking at the statistics, the demographics.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, now that the KKK is coming out and putting together a fund for the warrior cop. That I mean, this isn't anything. This isn't a big deal. Them killing people, because they've done this for so long. It's shocking to them. They're like, oh my God, can't believe you guys have finally got upset about this. This is business as usual. So,
and when you have a police force that, and I had the numbers in front of me here. I mean, it's, first of all, it's not a very large police force, but we're talking like the majority is black in Ferguson. The majority, and it's like 3 out of 60 on the force are black. Right. So, and these people,
the ones that they let talk on camera, of course, that are working with the Black Panthers and Al Sharpton and the rest.
I think they had to pull those in from the state. I think those are state trooper that are coming in.
The FBI's running this thing now, so apparently they're in charge. And if well,
thank God we're safe.
yeah, it's definitely taking a better swing.
Well, my question wasn't, I guess it is, because I always like your opinion. You do, copious amounts of whatever filtering of news, and your opinions always interest me, even if I think they're ridiculous. But more times than not, we agree. The individual event, your thoughts, not on all the circus and the media freak show. And the crap that's been pulled since then.
I've told you this before, Charlie. I would kill people for less. If some guy came into my house and started shaking me down for a cigarello, I don't care if he had a gun. If he was bigger than me, I would shoot him. If I had an opportunity, I would kill him. I would stab him in the face. But I'm not a cop, so it doesn't excuse the behavior. And I think that you do have cops that have been trained to think of themselves, we're going to go home today and screw these people. And I mean, there's this, video top story at blacklistednews.com. I found it over at Cryptagon, but just one of the many case in points. Ferguson cop pointing a rifle at protesters says he will, quote, fucking kill them, tells them to go fuck themselves when asked his name. These guys are pointing their weapons at people, which is just... you're military trained. You know that you don't ever raise a gun and point it at somebody unless you plan on killing them. Right. So,
that's why you do it. You either are about to shoot them in an offensive manner or a defensive manner, but the trigger's about to be pulled when you're in that stance. And for the cops, which takes. So, if you look at this as a story, as an event. Cops are around the country corrupt, and you know what? It's case after case after case that we see where you see these roided up, flat tops, and they're just going BS crazy. And I'm not saying they got an easy job. I'm not saying that everybody doesn't lose their cool once in a while. But when you have this rash of innocent, I don't want to use the word innocent, unarmed individuals who are shot 9 times because whatever the reason is, and then to see the response, it only convicts the guy who did that, even if he's sitting there beat to pummel. If he's broken eye socket and busted up and all whatever, it makes, regardless of what the event was, this whole situation makes the police state case for alternative media.
What do you mean by that?
The response, this gun pointing at, I'll effing kill you, and refuse to give their name. And if you have been seeing the nightly shoot downs of nothing but tear gas and flashbang grenades, and the fact that the cops are treating these guys like, or the protesters or the crowds as if they're not individual, or not if they're people, as if they're a military force. I mean, that's what it feels like when you watch this. It feels like, well,
it's because they're in camo, and you see, these gang ups of 12-on-1 where they're going after these people that have their arms in the air. I mean, it's more than just protecting property, and obviously, I think the better approach would be to make sure that there aren't provocateuring and going after maybe those individuals that are damaging property, but trying to institute martial law and round up people and to push them into different areas to fight with them, and even in some cases paid protesters. That's going to lead to the result that we all think it will, and that is a lot of violence, possibly deaths, and nobody really wants that. So I don't understand the approach. If the feds are steering this, then I think that that a lot of this is probably being steered by the state. That there could be people out there that want this to happen or just feeding into it. I mean, we saw the media spectacle. They're saying this is Trayvon Martin 2.0. Well, if that's the fact, that's a really bad thing for Trayvon and his memory, which is pretty tainted by the media portrayal of the whole situation and the I thought that was the most despicable aspect of all of it. But this is something that's being used as an agenda item to and like I said before, I just think that unfortunately this is what happens when people 36% of Americans don't have any retirement savings. When you're not vested in the system, you don't see any future, you have nothing better to do.
And why do you care? Then why do you care? I mean, you'll go crazy. You'll even drive down from Chicago if there's an opportunity to, first of all, it's going to be less violent in Ferguson than when you just left Chicago. Second of all, you might get some good little loot time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But your analysis of the economic situation, I think, is right on the money. I mean, when you have such a disconnect and such, in a lot of cases, Doug, hidden poverty. Because most people are not. I believe most people are not aware of how desperate we are just underneath the surface. This thin veil of normalcy. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like I'm a pretty smart person, or at least I'm more witty than some, and I feel I concur. I mean, not to toot my own horn, I'm not a genius by any stretch of the imagination. I don't have any superpowers or anything cool like that, but I figure that
you kind of do.
well, thanks, Charlie. Well, what would that be?
You can time travel.
I can time travel. We should come back to the present, really. I mean, obviously,
bring me back. Bring me back.
We're back. We're back in La La Land.
That's a superpower if I've heard.
Yeah, and the sad reality is that people. This is because of the war on poverty and because of the good intentions or the those that pave the way to hell in many instances. Good intentions have led to this, and I think that when you look at places like Missouri and St. Louis, I mean, when you have demographics of people that have been underserved and still trying to get over the mass amount of discrimination, and ultimately, I mean, I hold people today at this point. We have to start being responsible, but I do understand why you do have mass poverty among blacks in those communities and why they do feel underserved. So it's not that I don't understand or don't empathize for why they feel this way, but if you're a person that believes that because you're getting wrong that it's okay to like beat up the Dollar General and still crappy products made in China, then you are the people that those cops think about when they go out there with that really paramilitary aggressive behavior. So it's also a response. The police department is doing its best, I think, to respond to what they believe they should be doing. And that's what's really scary. They believe that it's okay and they should be rounding up and corralling people and that there's some kind of moral high ground. And that there are, I don't know if you saw the SWAT team, the Humvee that they had at this. It's one of the local police departments that says protecting your constitutional rights. And it's just like you have the audacity to put that on the side of a tank.
Of a Hummer.
That's tearing up the streets because it's so heavy, and things are more than likely going to tip over. I mean, they're really not effective. They're really just a stupid idea. Really,
it's effective if you're fighting an enemy force, right?
Or you want to scare the hell out of the citizens and project fear, and that you can come and terrorize them. Then it works well.
That's what it breaks down to. It's about terror. They're going to serve warrants in these MRAPs? Is that? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
And you're talking way over the top force that is being projected. And it
doesn't work. It just pisses people off, and it makes.
I was going to say I don't blame the people for because there's I was watching.
I've been pissed off for a long time. I'm glad some of my fellow Americans are starting to look at this and
but don't burn down the dollar store or whatever.
But don't burn down the dollar store, people. Shoot higher. Go to Goldman Sachs. Go to Bank of America or some other place. I'm not saying that you should do that. I don't condone that. Actually, I need some.
Take it back.
I take it back. We need to go back in time and erase that.
Take that back, because that's a little that's a little close to trouble.
Yeah.
No, but
all right, undone.
Undone. Never happened. If you're going to take out your your frustration, and it's I hear it all over the place, so it's not even good.
Muhammad Jihad.
Mm-hmm.
Why and here's a question for you, Doug Owen. Is it just the social economic class? Is it just that you get so poor, you get so desperate, you get so and I'm not putting a race to this. I'm putting anybody, because anybody and everybody could be in that position. And I personally believe a lot more people are going to enter into that level, that economic level.
Yeah, I never finished my thought. I feel like I'm only right away from that. I'm only a few months away from being in, abject poverty and being at the mercy of the state, or having to move or figure out how to change my whole life to get out of this position I'm in. But I would do that. I wouldn't just, hang out and, kind of ride the wave and hope that, there's some opportunity for me coming down the mountain.
Well, and certainly you wouldn't look at your opportunity as ripping off, the
Piggly Wiggly,
Piggly Wiggly, and getting yourself some free bubble gum or something. But I think it's the anger and the hopelessness and the frustration,
and the desire for a flat screen smart Samsung TV, or maybe an S5.
An S5 that does not host Skype very well sometimes.
Yeah. What do you expect? Come on. It's not too bad. Hey, it's almost back to school. You've got a young one that is of school age. Are you spending lots of money?
Hold on a minute. Here he is right now. He's almost home alone. I'll explain that story in a minute. Let's see what he has to say. Here, hold on.
Does he speak? Does he talk?
Yeah, I got him on the cool Samsung 5. Son? Yeah. You're on Doomcast right now. What's on your mind?
Can I go down to the mall and grab something?
What do you got to grab at the mall? You're not going to riot, are you?
Yeah, you better pay for it, or they're going to shoot you in the face.
Yeah, if you don't pay for it, they'll just tase you to death in the parking lot, right? Yeah, you can go. Call me when you get back. Bye.
That's great parenting right there. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't want him to get tased in the face.
Yeah. Well, it's back to school, so I imagine he's going to go and get him some cool gear.
Some cool duds. I'm really lucky because he lives with me. I've had him since he was 2 years and 11 months, living with me full time. But his mom absolutely is involved. He's over there all the time. Number one, almost every weekend. But financially, I mean, the roles are almost reversed. Guys will get the $1,200 a month guilt payments that they'll.
Is that what they're called? I thought that was called alimony or child support.
Child support. Well, child support. Yeah, it's usually a lesser amount, but I've got a lot of friends that are single dads that they have this feeling of guilt, so they'll just go out and dump money on their kid when they have them for every other weekend or whatever.
You just spoil them and hope that you're buying love. Good luck with that.
That's exactly right. And he loves his mother and she loves him, but and I've tried to tell her over the years, stop buying him stuff because he's just got so much. And Doug Owen, when I'm talking so much, I'm talking motorcycles, four-wheelers, snow machines, all at his mom's house. And
see, that's why he's not riding. If he's
got gear.
He's got gear.
Yeah, well, he's probably worth on paper more than I am.
I'm probably worth more dead than I am alive, but that's like most Americans.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Well, in Compton, speaking of black neighborhoods where people are really pissed off and feel that they are underrepresented by the local government, SROs, the campus officers, are going to be carrying AR-15s. They've now been authorized, so when they go back to school Monday, just one of a sign of the times, sad tragedy that's happening because they're saying, of course, they're under-equipped when there's terrorist attacks and mass shootings. These guys need AR-15, so
it's unbelievable.
Kind of welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know what? Do you see that changing, Owen? I mean, look at like airports for an example.
I don't know, man. I mean, at some point, can't we just say, I'll just take my own chances with terrorists and just live in a world where I'm not that fearful. I mean, I get this all the time from people. I get this all the time from people. They're like, you're a hopeful optimist. You're not worried enough about this or that. And it's like, well, those are the kind of people that are like, yeah, I guess we just have to have, the militarized police state because, those terrorists, we got to do it. And I think it's that fear, that constant fear that has been able to push us to this point. Because I don't think that people are worse off or more evil or more violent than they were 50 years ago. A lot of people probably would argue with me. So arguably, I don't think that the human race has become any more or less violent than it has at any other point in history. I just don't think it's changed that much. We are humans. We are what we are. And I think the only thing that has changed is we have a perception of fear that we have to continue to do whatever it takes to keep us safe. And that's really what it comes down to, is that we're willing to accept all sorts of silly things, and not just, the state control, but, just, renting our mind space. And I guess that's, instinctual and probably goes back to, the fact that most of us had to worry about being marauded and raped and pillaged on a daily basis.
I think since, namely since 9/11, the accelerator's been put down, and let's face it, there's now there's a generation that has been so immersed in this, they don't know any different. They don't know that, like when I was in high school compared to my son, you would have lost your mind if you'd went to the airport and had TSA or guys walking around the boarding area or where you go pick up your ticket with their AR-15 slung, or like this Compton thing where they're going to be carrying around assault rifles. You would have never.
We cherish the idea that even though we do have from time to time bad guys that do bad things, that. Living free was still worth it. It was just a different mindset. You're right. It's a paradigm shift that happened on 9/11 and leading up to that. And I think that I think that we're starting to see the pulling back of that, especially things like Ferguson, Missouri, are making people like, whoa, wow, look at these police. They're all in camouflage. They've taken off their badge numbers. They are. And now we have the alternative media, and independent journalists that are being able to document this. So we're getting more and more penetration into, homes and into people's, purview with a lot of what's happening. Whereas you think back to going back to Kent State. I mean, you just didn't see all of that. You didn't hear the cops telling people they're fucking animals. You didn't hear the cops because they didn't have, tons of great film equipment. They couldn't all just record this.
They didn't look like the military, though. I mean, they didn't look like another...
It didn't matter. I mean, they were still, hosing people down with water cannons. Now they're using sound cannons. I mean, and beating people with, batons and,
and now they're using beanbags. Yeah. Yeah.
Tomato. It's just a little different. There's more technology. The only difference is there's more technology on both sides, both fronts.
So wait a
the
minute,
police are militarized, but now the citizens are all publicly journalists. So it's kind of interesting.
But am I understanding you? Am I misunderstanding you? Because it sounds like you're saying the level of militarization or the level of I'll call it Stasi style police tactics is not changed, only the gear and the coverage of it.
Oh, absolutely. You don't think that cops in the South have been killing black people for a long time for lesser things and getting away with it?
I'm not saying that.
That's why people are upset. It's just now, it's really hot, and it's there's a flashpoint, and there may be people that are helping stoke this.
I think there's a definite self-perception difference between the 60s and now on what police are, what law enforcement is versus what it is now. I think they see themselves as a paramilitary organization.
They're standing armies. This is what the founding fathers warned us of. I mean, this is exactly what you have to resist. So I don't think that it's okay. I don't know what.
I don't think I thought you were saying that because of the everyman journalist, that it's just now being reported, and that there's really no difference in level of a perception. The cops thought they were above the law and had the right to stomp you into the dirt. Then, just like they do now, it's only better covered now.
Well, yeah. I mean, go back to Rome. I mean, this is what the authoritarians and all of their henchmen and militias and their armies have done forever. So. Yeah. There's been we had a pretty
closer the empires come to fail, the more aggressive the apparatus becomes to maintain.
Well, yeah, because the economy is in dire straits. They understand this trade war and where we're at today, and for the potential for people, a lot more people, to be affected and to be upset about the current situation. So these things do come to a head. I mean, the civil rights movement really highlighted what, even with 1960s technology, the ability for the state to beat and oppress people. So yeah, I think it is the technology, and it is there is a difference. But a lot of that was, you just didn't have that many people, and you didn't have the expansion of the federal government. When you look back 100 years ago, you just didn't have that many. The whole dynamic, technology, everything changes. It's not that your boss in 1955 respected your privacy more. Maybe he did. Maybe you did. But now you have a lot more opportunities and a lot more, thinner budgets to work with. And if you can find tools to make sure that you're not getting screwed by, invading other people's privacy, watching them every moment, figuring out how effective they are. If they had the technology, they would have done that. So that's why I'm saying I don't think people have changed. Some of the things that we have changed, and I think that if anything, I
think the level of control, the immersion into more of a police state, the power that the government has given itself now to act as if the citizenry is all terrorists, and the need for them to militarize to protect us from ourselves, and it does go back. I mean, it's Benjamin Franklin's line. This isn't new, because we have been talking about trading security for liberty or security for freedom for hundreds of years. And you're right. This is exactly the dangers of a standing army that were talked about. It's just, lessons forgot. And now we have terror and, immigration, whatever you want to plug into to the equation that makes it okay for the government to continue to grow it's police state out of control. They're on it, and they're not turning around. The switch isn't turning. I don't think that Ferguson's going to change anything. It's probably going to do the exact opposite effect of that, and even more dramatically increase the amount of equipment and paramilitary attitude of our police forces.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that there is that divide. But it's I think ultimately because of the economy and because of the I don't know the lack of investment that people have, and so they're going to react. And but it doesn't change what's happening on the ground here. And I talked about this on a podcast I recorded last night, one of the belated blacklisted radio, because I went to Seattle.
That is for you. That is for you, a belated one. You're usually a Saturday guy, right?
Yeah, I do it Saturday. But I was at a wedding. My sister's wedding happened last.
Aww.
Yeah, so I was in Seattle.
Congratulations, Doug's sister.
Yes, yeah. To her. Yeah. And so anyway, did the show last night, and I got derailed there. Where were we going with this?
You're talking about the economy.
Oh, yeah. I talked about my next door neighbor. I've got a black family that lives right next to me. They're pretty affluent. They have a BMW. It's not a brand new BMW, but it's late 2000s. I don't know their finances. I have no idea really what he does. I've talked to him, several times. We're very cordial. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? They'll ask me about how the baby is. Is he growing? What's he eating? And I ask them the same. So we have an okay relationship, as much of a relationship as I really want
as
with my
neighbor.
As a next door neighbor. I mean, I'm not looking for best friends right next door to me. Somebody that's going to come over and hang out and want sugar. So in neither with the white couple that live to the left of me here.
Right.
But anyway, we got into a conversation because the other neighbor was getting a roof put on, and she was wondering if it was waking up my baby and if it was irritating my wife because it was irritating her. And she stopped to talk to me. And, Ferguson, Missouri, what's happening there, it wasn't a concern. We didn't have racial tension. She didn't, look at me as, some white demon. Maybe she does, but I don't think she'd stop and talk to me for the amount of time that she did and be so cordial if that was really what she believed. Point being is that it's because these people, they're vested in the system. They're employed people that are doing well or well enough, and for the most part, I think everywhere. I mean, they're not going to riot. But when you look at Ferguson, I mean, it's a pretty screwed up place. You have an out of control police state that has no regard for their own citizenry. At all.
And poverty, and abject poverty. And I don't believe, I honestly do not believe it has anything to do with anything other than economics. I think you could have Mexicans, whites, blacks, whatever, if you're into that desperate position where you're being oppressed.
But see, this is what happens. Then all the Black Panthers come out, or if it was Hispanics, La Raza would come out, and they try to make it a race issue, or Al Sharpton, or other tragedy pimps.
You got the KKK coming out talking about protecting the hero cop or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that is pretty despicable. Obviously, it's not going to help the cop very much, and I think those things are planted. I really do. I think the FBI is running the KKK, and they put out these press releases just to incite people.
It's all the Southern.
But here's the other thing. I think that people that just watch it, they're like, "That's a shame. Those people in Ferguson, they're crazy," and they just go about their own day. And so the next door neighbor lady isn't like, "Oh my God, have you been watching the live stream of Ferguson?" Maybe that's why she doesn't feel So I think that I end up kind of overreacting to what I see in the media, because I forget that 90% of people in America just don't give a crap what's on the media. Don't trust the media. Don't really believe it. Only watch it. Probably like my parents to get the weather for the most part, and probably doesn't play. I mean, some people I'm sure into the R's and the D's and kind of buy into
Sure.
There's party politics and stuff.
There's 10%. There's 10% that are glued to that, but you're right. Most are just going to grab whatever's whatever's fed to them for 15 or 20 minutes.
People are centric. I mean, if things are going good for them, I mean, throughout history, there's always been guys that are smoking cigars, and there's always been guys that have been slaves making, railways for somebody else. That hasn't changed at all. So the question is, where are you, and where do you want your family to be, and how do you make sure that you're not
and how far are you from the place you don't want to be? You mentioned it earlier. We're all a few paychecks away from that, from that kind of desperation.
I mean, you got to be employable. This is the thing. Once you go out there and you start robbing the Jiffy Lube before, cigarellos, you're unemployable. Don't do it, people, because you have to live that down. Once you decide to do that for here's the thing. You got to go, if you're going to do it, go big. And I think about Wall Street when I think about this, okay? It's okay to rob people for millions of dollars, even billions of dollars, okay? Sure. That is not a problem. You will not go to jail. You might even get a government-appointed position at some point become a lobbyist.
But if you're getting a cigarello, you're going to catch 9.
35-cent cigarello, you're going to be killed by a warrior cop that thinks that, you're a human animal. You're a pig in human skin. That's what they think. That's how this world works. It's not Doug Owens' opinion, or it's not my my rules.
If you do it with the pin, and it's in you have 9 zeros behind it, well then you're just going to buy your way out of it. I mean, you're too important to ridicule or to go after.
Look, did you see Rick Perry's indictment? I mean, it's a perfect example of somebody that, if you were indicted, Charlie McGrath, they would.
Yeah, that's right there that's in your backyard now. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it seems like this is 100% politics. This drunk DA and he says she's got to go, or we're going to hold up the money. I mean, that's the narrative I'm buying. Is that reality, or do you really believe this is a massive misuse of Rick Perry's power?
Rick Perry is a scumbag, and he is a crony through and through, and there's so many things that they could actually go after him for. I think this is pretty silly. Alan Dershowitz, there you go, nice Jewish lawyer, thinks that Rick Perry will get off, and so if he thinks he will, he probably will, because just because, I mean, that's the way the world works. So I think, this is a way
99 years he could get.
If he does a day in jail, you know what?
I'll be shocked.
I'll eat my shoe. Okay. Yeah. If he, you know what? Maybe I'll eat my shoe if he does more than 30 days in jail. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a Tom DeLay, thing here where he goes to jail for
even David
years.
Axelrod. Even David Axelrod, who has no reason to be on that bandwagon, says
I don't think he's going to be a Blagojevich.
No way. He's not. No.
He's pretty powerful. He knows a lot of people. He was smiling. He felt good about it. There was a pep rally. There was a freaking pep rally. Have you ever seen a pep rally in an indictment? I mean, come on, really? I mean, I've never seen that before. I don't know if
it'll get cut before it even. I don't even think it's going to be a made for TV.
How can you get indicted and not get handcuffed? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me.
You're Rick Perry, man.
People talk about white privilege. That is not white privilege. That is political elitism. That's being a Bilderberger.
That's power. That's power privilege.
That is power. Power. What's been the worst recovery ever, except for bankers? There are people in the population. There's a segment of population that doesn't want to pay taxes, that don't have to pay taxes, that are doing really well. But
matter of fact, I don't know if we talked about that last week or not, but I did a commentary video on just that. That 2013 was the most profitable banker year ever. 2014 is going to be slightly less than that, but not much. We're talking less than $50 million, and we're talking billions and billions of dollars in profit. Yet the average middle class since 2008 has fallen 23%. The average income in the middle class household. That's from the Conference of Mayors. That information came out. And it's
Bloomberg scumbags. Did you hear about that one Bloomberg anti-gun mayor that got indicted himself?
No.
Oh,
No.
I was just looking at it. Just one of the.
I didn't hear about that. Tell me about it.
Oh well.
You know what?
He got charged with something.
I'd be remiss if I don't. I'm looking at the clock here, and
we've got some time to cut out of there, so we're about 10 minutes shy on this.
Okay, good. All right. Well, tell me about that, and then I want to talk about this Foley who allegedly got his head cut off, and a little bit about Iraq.
No, let's talk about that. I mean, it was just a crony, another one of these guys that he's all for taking your guns, giving more guns to the government, but taking your guns, and then you find out he's a criminal, and so same old story, same
old thing.
This might actually be on the second page. It might be 100 articles back. I was looking for it, but anyway, I want to talk about this Foley, the beheading. You and of course producer Craig, you can follow him at producer Craig 33. We're chit chatting about this. You're not buying it. Stinks to high heaven. Fishy. Don't think this really happened. That's what he was telling me. I didn't have a chance to check it out today.
Well, what producer Craig was saying is he can't find it. And if he can't see it, he doesn't believe it. And I don't know if I believe it or not. I do know this, that I probably lean more toward with Craig on this one, because it is look, I got, like I said, the headline in my hand here in the New York Times: U.S. airstrikes experts push for more Iraqi attacks. This 4 weeks ago was a humanitarian mission. And now it's a humanitarian mission that we know that didn't need to happen, that led to air attacks that have led to
Whoa. You said didn't need to happen. Are you kidding me? Okay, we got the general consulate there. We got the heads of Total and BP, and there are a lot of very profitable oil wells. This is a rich and prestigious area, very close to the interests of the U.S., and that's what Barack Obama said, that we have interests there. Now, maybe not the Yazidi people that weren't necessarily stranded.
The Yazidi Christians that
were
the Peshmerga. Not again. They're God, I'm reading it. I can't even say it. Peshmerga. This plucky band of heroic fighters that only needs more assistance and boots on the grounds, and they would be a glaring democracy in the middle of a region that's been war torn for 100 years. And it's always back. We're going to back a guy right up until the fact, or until the time that we're shooting at that same person because they've turned on the hand that fed him. But the Foley, your thoughts on this? We bombed, they cut his head off. It sounds simple enough, but when you put it, you see the press today with Obama talking about the world is outraged. I mean, this certainly could just be.
The world is not outraged.
Yeah, the world don't care.
The world is apathetic.
Used to it. They're used to beheadings. Yeah.
I mean, is that anything new? The people that we're funding in Syria were beheading people, and a lot of what happened is, this ISIS group, now the Islamic State.
They're still beheading people. They behead.
They were armed by the U.S. These are the moderates the CIA found that we thought were a great idea to fight Bashar al-Assad, and they have been redirected, and they are.
Here's the course of action.
I think a lot of this might be that some of the people that the U.S. funded, armed, that got out of control. They might just be rounding them up and trying to kill them all at some point. Because they're of no use, and they're a bunch of rabble rousers, and probably at some point
I think that's the plan.
Blow up a pipeline. They don't want that.
You don't have Baghdadi in your prison for 4 years, and then all of a sudden he's the next Messiah. That isn't just coincidence. I mean, this is a war-making region of the world, a factory that we're using to crank the next generation of war.
This is the Zion Terror Factory, my friend. It's mayors against.
That's exactly what it is.
It is. It really is. Mayors Against Illegal Guns mayor charged with bribery. Gordon James, or excuse me, Democrat Mayor Gordon Jenkins, a member of Michael Bloomberg's Mayors Against Illegal Guns, was arrested Thursday on bribery charges, the latest in a long string of legal and ethical problems for Mr. Jenkins. So,
did you just jump back in time without telling me?
I just wanted to bring it up because once you kind of go out on a tangent, you want to bring it full circle. So I thought,
there you go. Way to bring it around.
Because Craig always does a good job trying to figure out what the hell we're talking about and putting the table of contents, the talk. I got the talk post. He does a great job. Craig, we haven't said that for a while. You do an outstandingly fantastic job. So thank you very much for that. We're giving him carpal tunnel. I feel bad about it.
He's a typing machine. He's a posting machine. He's a Skyping machine. I'll tell you that.
He is a Skyping machine.
Yeah. What else you got on the docket before we run out of time here?
Let's see. What else is on tap? Patent troll case. We've escaped that. Did you hear about Adam Carolla and the whole deal with the patent troll that was going after podcasters, and iTunes paid them off, and he's been basically going out there and collecting money to fight the patent troll, which is this company, Personal Audio, that didn't buy the patent. They actually created the patent. They got the patent. It was a legal patent, and
right.
So I don't think that it fits the term patent troll. Patent trolls are somebody that goes out there and buys these erroneous patents from people that are just wildly vague and questionable about their legal ability to go after them. But anyway, they buy them and then they just start suing people, hoping to get a payday, and coming up to you and just kind of hitting you up for cash, saying, "Hey, you're running Doomcast and you're not paid up. You need to give me $10,000 if you want to continue." Well, anyway, so the story was kind of convoluted, and he got $500,000 because people like Joe Rogan and a lot of other influential voices in the podcasting community, of which we are now part of, Charlie McGrath.
Yeah, that's right.
They raised a lot of money, and so it was about going after them and actually fixing these patents and the patent system. And I think that does need to be readdressed. I mean, you talk about things that we need to do with the economy. I mean, I think just reworking the patent system could create trillions of dollars worth of production, and it really open up a lot of avenues that are currently not available to people for for various reasons. Nefarious, the powers that be don't want you to have that Tesla technology. Just
intellectual property right control is a huge thing.
Big deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's so basically you had this legal defense fund, but they're not going after them anymore. And there's several people that have noted that they're like, well, what's up with that $500,000, Adam Carolla? Because we really didn't change the patent system. Right. And so I just think it's one of these case in points where you find people that champion going after the big guy and just end up pocketing a lot of cash and
a bunch of money. Yeah. And I think you see that a lot, especially in that's why it's almost like you want to only trust people. And I'm not a giant fan, but I am a fan of Joe Rogan. But because he's not doing his podcast for the dough. I mean, he's got plenty of money from his television stuff and from his UFC gig. But in independent media in general, it's really, really hard to put your faith and your trust into the messenger sometimes because like anything else, it's about the dough in a lot of cases. I personally know, I know.
Yeah, this show is not a Crusader show. We're not here to save the world. We're just here to talk about it.
Yeah, talk about saving the world. But no, I was going to say that as far as scumbags and people who are just looking to build an audience so they can turn a dime, there's plenty of them out there. I know them. I mean, I've spoke to them. I've listened to their schemes and their plans and there's a lot of people that don't do this for the love of it. And I know you and I are both we both are day job guys, and we do this hoping that we can at least pay for the time and equipment that tonight's failing miserably, but
we made it happen. I mean, technology has brought us together. I mean, you're on crappy Denver Wi-Fi at the hotel. I mean, we're doing okay.
I'm on Ethernet now, so I'm solid-ish. But my point is this: that there's a lot of people that claim to be purists in this that are not. So I would say two things. Two things will end that in independent media. Longevity, usually the ones that are just groping for money are going to just go away because it just, you know what?
There's no money. There's no money. I mean, we worked pretty hard and we got $20. I mean, we're appreciative of the $20, but
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, and what are we up to? We have probably 5,000 people a week in different forums pulling this now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that it's not that I don't think
so. If we didn't love doing this, as one point is, we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't love doing it. There's no illusion that somehow we're gonna have podcast number 56 and say, well, we got $180,000 in donations last week. It'd be great, but we just know that's not going to happen. So it's always, I think, healthy to question motivations. And the other way to find them out is being in there for the money is they get caught being in there for the money. They get money.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of that. Every time I went to some meetup or meeting or Ron Paul campaign. Oh man, you know what? Windows 7 is going to, or Windows 8 here is going to dictate how long we go. My laptop.
I'll wrap it up.
My laptop over here keeps telling me I'm restarting in 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Your PC needs to restart to finish installing important updates. God.
I want to say this right now.
And it's not letting. There's no option to do it in 2 hours, do it 5 hours from now. I mean,
welcome to Windows 8.
I'm up against the gun.
You are. You have no choice. You're being held hostage. You're being held hostage by your computer. But listen, the folks that are listening, the donation, I was going to say multiple, the donation, my system is only allowing me to do Skype. Everything else is just a turning circle. So I promise on 56, I'll make proper thank you to the donation. And I want to encourage everybody to keep giving what they can to help support this. Obviously, our equipment sucks. But Doug, did you want to say anything else in wrapping it up?
Your equipment sucks. You need to nut up and buy a damn nice USB microphone, a blue, preferably the one I've shown you before. There's no excuse for that. I've invested time, money, efforts, and some of you.
Are you yelling at me?
Yes.
At me or at the audience?
No, at you. You could buy it. You should. You should buy it. See, you know what? If we can get Charlie to do this, I think that this would be a message to the people out there that you're willing.
How much is this mic?
Maybe like $70.
Oh, well, I can do that. I can handle 70.
I know.
All right, fine.
Just get your kid's mom to buy him this microphone since she's just got this overwhelming amount of money and she's spoiling him.
Charlie for his football camp needs his blue. The boy needs his blue ball microphone.
Yeah, not a blue ball microphone.
You know what? I'm in Denver. I'll grab it tomorrow because they'll have it here.
Yeah, I'm sure they're at Best Buy. I mean,
Best Buy.
You know, we're not the only people doing a podcast here anymore.
Fair enough. Tomorrow I will buy the blue balls.
All right, you might have blue balls. I don't know if you'll be able to buy them at Best Buy, but
my name is Charlie McGrath. My website is wideawakenews.com. My friend and my co-founder is Doug Owen. His website is blacklistednews.com. If you want to contact me, info@wideawakenews.com. If you want to contact Doug, please contact him at doug@blacklistednews.com. We'll be back again next week with Doomcast number 56. Thanks, y'all.